Hey, what's up? Welcome back. This is our first Ripe Reviews. I'm Joe Lascola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
And it's a
literal...
It's a shitstorm.
Yeah, I took the words right out of my mouth. Took the words out of the movie title, Joe. That's what we're talking about today. Shakespeare's, specifically. Shakespeare's Shitstorm.
Hashtag Shakespeare's Shitstorm. Don't forget that.
A little bit like that Vampires, John Carpenter's Vampires, the book version, if you know what we're talking about. Go back. We talk about it on the episode with the dollar signs and all that weird shit. Yeah. But yes, Troma's Shitstorm, directed by Lloyd Kaufman
Uncle
himself.
Lloyd. Yeah, so this is our first Ripe Reviews in video format.
Yes.
And if you're listening to this, go watch it on YouTube. What do you say?
YouTube.com/movie dumpster.
There you go. The mutants of Tromaville contacted us. The lovely people of Tromaville contacted us and asked us to review their brand new movie, hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm. And that's what we're gonna do. We got the opportunity to have an advanced screening of it and check it out before it comes out. Now it has screened already in August of 2020 at the Fantasia Film Festival, and then I believe that they premiered it at the Mahoning Drive-In.
Oh, okay.
They did a whole thing where there was a big whale ass they dump shit out of it and stuff.
A whale? Specifically, we have to mention this because this is Movie Dumpster, and it's come up many times over the years on this show. Orcas!
Yes.
Defecating, as we find out.
Mother of God.
Now, again, this is our Ripe Reviews, so what we do is we do a condensed version of it, and the film hasn't even been widely available to purchase or see, so there's not going to be any clips, and we're not going to go deep dive into it. We're going to do our opinions and our thoughts of the film, and that's how this goes.
Yeah.
But before we get into talking about Shakespeare, hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm,
right.
I want to talk a little bit about Troma in general and Lloyd Kaufman. Now, if you don't know who Lloyd Kaufman is, he's basically one of the fathers of the exploitation genre, distributing those kinds of films, and making those kinds of films, and even like teen sex comedies and stuff like that. So he's been in the game a long time. Him and Michael Hers founded Troma, and they've released the classics like The Toxic Avenger and Class of Nukem High and Tromeo and Juliet and Troma's War and Poultrygeist, Sergeant Kabuki Man and all that good stuff. Now, these are the films that Troma specifically has produced and Lloyd has directed.
Right, because I remember in our previous season, we covered Mother's Day, directed by his brother, which eventually became a Troma film, but it didn't start as one.
It did not start as a Troma movie. That was like the first one to kind of kick off that type of film.
Okay.
Like the exploitation, like that exploitation film, and in kind of I wouldn't say launch Troma, but was one of the early ones.
Okay.
Right? I think Toxic Avenger is the one that really blew the fucking lid off for everybody, but and I'm sure most of you would agree. But yeah, it's Troma itself was one of the trifecta for me when I was a kid. So it was like Troma and Full Moon growing up in the 90s. I mean, most of their stuff is 80s and early 90s stuff. But, all those trips to the video store, like, that's what I would grab. Shit like Toxic Avenger and Class of Nukem High and Puppet Master and, Castle Freak and all that shit. And also, on that note, too, even Vestron. But Vestron had put out a lot of Empire Picture stuff, which is also Charles Band as well.
Right.
As full. Right. But yeah, these films and Troma in general kind of have shaped my sense of humor and what kind of movies I'm into, and the stuff with the gore and the over the top like disgustingness of everything. I mean, if you've watched and listened to Movie Dumpster, you know how crude we can get on here. But so it's all your fault, Lloyd. Uncle Lloyd.
Yeah. We blame you, Uncle Lloyd. It's not our fault at all.
I was corrupted as a child. But yeah, Trump is very near and dear to me. So when they reached out to us, I was like very excited and to talk about the new movie that they have coming out.
Absolutely, and I'll be the first to admit I'm not a huge Troma guy, and that's not really like of any kind of personal avoidance. Just never got around to a lot of movies. Like Toxic Avenger, I love a lot, and just how like off the walls that movie is. Goes from like hyper serious to like hyper goofy. The fucking spoilers, a kid gets his head run over, and it's like one of the most gruesome scenes I've seen in a movie ever. But then you have this wacko guy in the tutu who gets transformed into this now iconic character beating the shit out of these people in a burger joint.
Dude, he's the first superhero from New Jersey.
Yeah, well, there's that too. We finally got one. Thank you, Uncle Lloyd.
I identified with it a lot because we're from New Jersey, so that was so cool to have it. When I watch these movies, I feel like I'm part of these movies.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
Like I'm like somewhere like Tromaville is only the next town over, right?
Kind of like the old Kevin Smith universe a little bit.
Kind of, yeah.
Like the Clerks and the Chasing Amy's and all those.
Right.
But yeah, I have a deep appreciation for Troma as a whole. Like I just said, I haven't seen a lot of the films, but yeah, I'm super into it. I wore a Street Trash shirt today because I was like, in my brain, that is like the closest thing to Troma that I can think of that I really love. Out of like the horror genres or horror in general, I should say. Just because, like, especially this film we're about to talk about, much like Street Trash, is like that gross out, in your face comedy that's just like, it's not your grandma's kind of horror movie,
It is the Troma stamp, dude. That's what they are known for. Disgusting, over the top, politically incorrect humor and visuals.
Yes, and this movie leans hardcore on all of that, along with the toilet humor. Oh, hence the name.
Yeah. I feel like you have seen more movies distributed by Troma than actual Troma-produced movies.
Probably true.
I think so. Yeah.
That's sad to admit, but here we are.
So yeah, let's get into it. Hashtag Shakespeare's Shitstorm.
Joe, when we got into this, even though the name, like you just said, is Shakespeare's fucking Shitstorm, I wasn't anticipating the shitstorm that we got. I was like, okay, is this a literal shitstorm? Is this going to be like, more of like, an analogy? It's kind of both.
Well, so
it's a Tempest, if you will.
So the last film they released was in 2017, which was the Return of Nukem High Volume 2.
Okay.
So this is the first film since 2017 that we've gotten directly from them that Lloyd has directed. And basically this movie is Shakespeare's The Tempest, or Tempest, I forget if it's Tempest or who fucking cares.
Right.
But instead of a tropical storm, it's a literal shitstorm birthed from whales, orcas, if you will, that are given laxatives, and then the deserted island is replaced by New Jersey.
Well, of course.
Yeah, of
Tromaville.
Course. Yes, Tromaville, New Jersey. Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of great because like you don't waste much time getting this movie going. Like,
No.
they're all on this yacht from the get-go, and like they even introduce like multiple layers to this, where it's like, we just have like the influencers on the roof getting drunk. It's like, huh? What?
I love how this opens with
oh yeah, we get this cold open. You're right.
Yeah,
Joe.
we get this cold open and like in the 80s, and it's like a flashback kind of thing. And like, again, if you're not familiar with Troma films or have any experience with Troma films, I mean, and you don't know what you're getting into, this is going to shock your fucking system, okay?
Yeah.
It is the political and social satire. Oh, there you go. You can have that one. Yeah.
You're not wrong. Yeah, political satire for sure. Holy cow. We'll print that on a shirt.
There you go. They make fun of it in this way where like everybody on social media is like this social justice warrior bullshit and all that stuff. The extremists, right?
Right, yeah, but everybody in the movie is that because that's kind of the joke.
That's the
yeah,
joke.
And
kind of where we've gone as a society with social media and censoring things and cultural appropriations
Sure.
and big pharma they touch on, and opioid addiction. I mean, it's all part of this big grand scheme.
They're coming after your MDUs, Joe. The what is that? What the hell was it actually called in Body Melt? I keep joking, call them MD-oods, but
I fucking the vitamins.
The vitamins or whatever.
I forget.
They're coming for your green and yellow pills, guys. Make your dick explode. Look out.
Oh man, it's escaping me. The vitamins from
It's
Body
Vita
Melt.
something. It's not Vita Vegemin, but
no,
it's
that's
something
like
in
some
that
Lucy,
vein. Yeah.
Lucille Ball shit.
Anyway.
So
So this woman's like basically like stuck in this like protest where all these people are just protesting random things, like some things that are actually legitimate causes, and other things that are just like, my dog died.
One of the signs says my dog died. This is the kind of humor we got. Now this is written by Brandon Bassham.
Okay.
Or Bassham. I don't know if it's Bassham or Assham, as we come to find out later.
You're right.
And Gabriel Friedman, and they wrote this with Lloyd. And I believe there's a couple other people credited, but
Sure.
I'm sorry if I'm leaving you out. But where is it going with that? Oh, the comedy is just like on point.
Yeah,
I mean, it is so like pitch perfect in terms of like pissing people off. People are going to be very mad at this movie, I'm sure.
Yeah, especially if you don't come into it with the right mindset. Like a couple times I was like, what? Like I was starting to like the wheels started to turn and I was like, wait. This is Troma. Don't overthink it. They're having a fucking laugh at everybody here.
You have to come at it with perspective.
Yeah.
Perspective.
You 100% do.
Critical thinking.
As we immediately cut to a woman blowing her brains out while people say, she's not going to do it.
You know,
she's full of shit.
You know what's funny about that? Sometimes that happens to me at least once a week, right? That surrounding of all those different people like saying all this crazy shit online. It makes you want to fucking blow your brains out.
Well, when you put it in that way, like the keyboard warriors, chasing people off of Twitter.
Yeah, which is insane, which is a big commentary of this film.
Yeah. But we cut forward, I think, what is it, like 12 years or something like that? But the key point is when this woman blows her brains out, there's a little girl next to her who gets, blood all over her face.
Yeah. So basically, in this film, Lloyd Kaufman plays Dr. Prospero, who has gone into business with his twin sister, which is also played by Lloyd Kaufman.
Right, which is interesting.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
And
I love that 80s look they show the two of them, her with the hair blown out, getting the perm.
But he basically finds a cure for opiate addiction.
Yeah.
And he wants to cure everybody in the US or the world rather and make good on that and stop big pharma and shit like that because we're all addicted and we're all taking drugs and all they're doing is perpetuating that. But in doing so, he's on this talk show.
Oh God.
And he ends up talking, he's like, but enough about that. Let's talk about Cinco de Mayo. And he brings out like a plate of tacos and a sombrero and then gets canceled.
Yeah, and the whole time the host is like, cut the commercial while he's like, he might as well get out like Macarenas for fuck's sake.
Maracas.
I'm going to re-say that. Somebody just assassinate me right now in my seat. Morocco's!
It's Maracas. Morocco is a place.
Thank God I'm the one
in the Middle East.
One. But anyway, so he gets canceled is the point. And he's like, walking down the street and everyone's like throwing garbage at him and everything. And he makes like a press conference to try to like, smooth it over. And all these people are pissed. And he's like, oh yeah, young man, just let me finish speaking. It's very clearly a woman. And then now they're pissed about that.
So basically he gets canceled and
big time
and run out of the pharmaceutical project. So then,
but that's what they wanted.
Right. So it was like a setup kind of. Yeah. So his sister and Big Al, the investor or the other guy that's a part of the company, push him out, and then they become, the 1% perpetuating opioid addiction and use of this drug or safe spacia.
Oh my God.
Fucking hilarious. It's this fucking drug you take. They have this fake commercial in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's all these like 18 to 35-year-olds, like, I don't know,
the stereotype
the Zoomer generation.
Yeah.
And they can't cope. And they're like, we
need safe spaces.
Well, yeah, safe spaces, but it's like a couple things like, these kids are from like, my father makes over $100,000 a year and my, all this kind of shit where they're all privileged. Where they shouldn't be complaining about things and they could have it a lot worse, but they need their safe space, Sean.
Right, that's obviously what, Lloyd is leaning into hardcore here.
Fucking...
Because they literally, like, they're eating these pills like they're, like, birth control pills, and then there's literal, like, I think of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 when you get, like, the electric bubble or something, it like, forms around them.
It forms a force field around them. They're literal safe space.
Like Star Trek or some shit.
It's just so fucking great.
And that's, like, a major plot point
it's a huge plot. Yeah, it runs throughout the whole thing. So it's a lot of, like, taking serious jabs at, like, social justice warriors and the idea of big pharma kind of... I think... The vibes that I got from it was like big pharma medicating that generation too.
Oh yeah,
and like over medicating that, not just like the opioid addiction per se, but like convincing everybody that they have ADD or ADHD or all this shit, or pumping them. You need these pills, basically.
Yeah, like the percentage of people that really need that is probably way lower than the people that were getting it fed to them.
I think so. And then again, it's part of that thing.
Well, yeah, and then we come to find out, like I mentioned briefly, that they're all on a yacht, and you have like I was saying, the influencers, the YouTube people, if you will.
Man, that was so good.
Up on the top of the roof, and everyone's doing cocaine. By the way, that's like a big joke too. Everyone's doing cocaine.
Well, the influencer are up on the deck, and then like down below, it's like all of, like the 1% bigwigs, and like there's like somebody from like the Chinese government there, somebody from like the African government, and they're like snorting all this coke, and like all these strippers come out.
All these fucking interns, and they're like, oh, if we want to get into the VIP room, we got to play Russian roulette. They're like, just like Barry, he got into VIP. It's this one guy, half his brains are blown out, but he's got a fucking cocktail.
Oh, man.
And I love the intern. It's like, it makes you think of Deer Hunter immediately. Pulls the trigger, actually gets the empty, shell, doesn't get hit. And then the Chinese overlord's like, you pull it again. You just hear the gunshot.
There are so many good gags.
Oh, you see it, actually. You do see it.
Oh, yeah. There are so many good gags that I don't want to talk about. It's something. This is a film that you need to experience,
and we can't show it, so it's like me explaining it is the best I could kind of do at the moment.
Well, it's one of those things.
And the visual element again, like if you've been listening to this for years, we try to explain as much as we can. If you haven't seen it, or if you want to get that extra,
Hopefully, we're coercing you to go see this or to see this movie when it comes out, because it's fucking great. I love it. I think it's great.
I mean, honestly, one way we could really coerce people is really just kind of get into the
let me finish the thought of the plot.
Yeah.
So basically, Lloyd is Prospero, and he basically wants to get revenge on these people.
Yeah. Right.
So he concocts this whole scheme to get them caught in a shitstorm, a literal shitstorm.
TM.
That's by laxative induced orcas that shit all over the boat and like get taken up in like tornadoes and shit. A tropical shitstorm, if you will. And then they land in New Jersey. So he basically pushes them into this nightclub that he's made.
Oh right, yeah. Prospero's retreat or whatever.
Yeah. And it's basically like the ultimate revenge on these people and everybody that's wronged him and stuff, and how this is his manifesto to be the ultimate inclusive being of all cultures and races.
That we find out, that is such a reveal, man.
It's fucking insane, and I love it.
That is something I wish I could have like a picture printed out and like email it to people listening, even like, this is what we're talking about, because I don't know if I could do it any justice when we get to that part.
Well, right. So I don't want to. So again, like I don't want to spoil too much of this.
Okay, fair enough. So I'll basically they're on the boat. There's an orgy going on at some point. There's cocaine.
There's all kinds of fucking and sucking in this movie. When the shit starts flying on the boat, it like overloads the boat, and like shit falls on all these people doing drugs and fucking, and they're like, shit orgy.
The best. Oh god, yeah. But the best is they have these two characters that they really call out as like the social justice warriors. These two women,
yes,
that just get cream pied in the face with these fucking orca shits.
You see this?
Holy
you
cow!
See this fucking orca asshole shit right on.
Like,
it's awesome. Just like I was telling you at the Mahoning, they had a replica of that, and they would dump shit through it on people and take pictures.
Holy cow.
It's pretty amazing.
Pie.
Yeah.
No circus peanuts this time. I didn't see any in the, they had a lot of corn on them. Everyone's covered in corn and shit after this. Some people had like baked beans on them and red beans and stuff like that. It was disgusting because this boat gets destroyed.
Yeah.
More or less. And they end up on land like Joe was saying. But they are covered in this gunk.
Yeah. They're covered in fucking whale shit.
So I love they get to the club. But, there's a few stragglers and people that die, but, whatever. They're not important to the plot. So they literally, like, hose them down like in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It's kind of great.
But they give them, like, some, like, stage play clothes.
Yes.
And they're all different types of other racial stereotypes.
Yeah. Right, yeah. They give the guy from Africa, he's got, like, the Apollo Creed kind of outfit from, like, Rocky IV with all the American flag stuff.
The one main guy's wearing, like, a turban and all this other stuff, which is hilarious. So Lloyd or Prospero has created this
Who's got all these monitors? I could not help but think of Blair Witch 2.
He's created this new drug called Tempest. And basically what it does, that's the whole crux of the movie. Like, he creates this drug to bring everybody together since everybody's done opioids and shit. And he sees the discourse happening between all the social justice warriors and how it's pushing people farther apart than it is from bringing together or making things better.
Right.
He makes a drug that if you take it, you become all of the different parts of the things that everybody loves or likes or whatever. So we're all the same kind of thing, like mutants.
Mutants is a good word.
It's fucking great, dude.
Especially in the Troma universe. Definitely in the TU, if you will.
Yeah.
We also have inserted into this film, because why not, a love story, which I guess that is probably the most from this. Again, I haven't read the Shakespeare play.
I haven't read the Tempest either, but I'm sure that this is like it's almost akin to like a Romeo and Juliet thing, where like there's the Prospero's girl and Big Al's boy want to get together,
right? Miranda and Ferdinand. Marissa's blind, by the way.
Kate McGarrigle plays Miranda. She is fucking fantastic in this movie. Her comedic timing is amazing, and she's just a great actress. Like. She's hilarious.
They do a good job from a comedic standpoint with some of the blind jokes. I'll be the first to say it, with her looking the wrong way.
Or I love the one with the ferrets we were talking about before.
Oh God, yeah. Before we started recording this, there's a scene where these two fat guys are trying to get her to touch their dicks.
They're like, we got some ferrets, and they're like, I love petting ferrets.
Oh God, and then we get introduced to the character of Columbine.
Yeah.
And she's pretty good. She's like the one black character in the movie, which they kind of play into about, oh, wow, if you're the token black character, why are you alive? Or why are you working for Lloyd Kaufman?
Yeah, they're like, is he oppressing you? And she's like, no, he's just my boss.
Yeah, so there's some pretty good humor there, too.
He makes me separate the plastics from the papers for recycling. And they're like, oh my God, he's a monster.
Right, well, she's saying this to like the two main social justice warrior chicks.
So fucking good.
Who then get like upset because they like don't want to sound racist, so they keep trying to say things that like, oh no, I have like friends that are black, and it's like, all right, like I get the joke, like maybe you were okay before you said that, and she's just like, all right, whatever.
It's the overcompensation. Fucking it's so keyed in and on point. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah. So then like Lloyd Kaufman basically enacts his plan. I mean, there's some other stuff peppered in there, of course. Like Ferdinand's kind of going back to his dad, Big Al, telling him you got to stop pushing drugs and all this. Yeah, some back and forth there, and then Big Al's, the whole movie is just trying to get laid with all the hookers.
He's grabbing tits and snorting fucking Tempest off of people's ass cracks and
off
tits.
Their boobs. Yeah, we have that.
There's that Chinese guy who grows a pair of tits.
Oh my God, from the Tempest, because people start mutating. Yeah. We also have one other character I want to mention that kind of is funny throughout, Ariel.
Oh,
this woman who has like the
she's got one of those voice boxes that makes her so she's a crack whore who's wheelchair bound.
Yeah,
but she's got a voice modulator.
She works for Lloyd Kaufman, and she comes up to him. He's got like this like 50s era, like almost like at a Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of lab, like a big joke kind of thing.
Oh, it's great.
So she's in there like, oh yeah, here's the information you need. And he's like, oh yeah, you did a great job. Here's a crack pipe. And she like lights it up immediately. It's like, holy shit.
She has a whole dance and song number about being a crack whore and sucking dick for crack.
Yeah, I love it's kind of great.
It's amazing.
So the movie kind of comes together towards the end here where the Tempest takes over. We have some other subplot where his twin sister's trying to kill Big Al.
Trying to kill Big Al because like she's trying to take over now. So since Lloyd Kaufman's out, Big Al's the main threat,
right?
Basically,
right. And there's some shenanigans that happen there that go back and forth where people are throwing up into bathrooms and stuff. Yeah. But then
pissing green liquid, your standard Troma affair.
Yeah, is anybody else pissing green?
We're all pissing green.
So while this is all happening, before things really just start going totally insane and people literally start mutating into different body parts.
Oh man.
We get the closure of the Ferdinand Miranda scene. First, we get this awkward scenario where she's jerking herself for 3 hours while he stands there watching because he's afraid to interrupt.
I'm standing up and masturbating.
Yeah. Finally, she finishes and he's like, Miranda. She's like, hold on 1 minute. I'm working on my braille. Holds up a book. It's like, oh my God.
She's reading him Braille Shakespeare at one point. Yeah. Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
But long story short, they basically end up there together and they start fucking. And apparently he fucks the blindness out of her. It's like, what? Okay. We're getting married.
This is all intercut with like the climax of the film.
Oh my God.
Where like they're singing and then her ass is in his face and then his dick is in her mouth.
They're 69 each
and
other.
They're like teeter-tottering. And people are growing fucking pussies on their faces and dicks out of their fucking chests.
Oh my God, one of those fat guys that said he had a ferret. Fucking his head literally turns into a giant. First his dick falls off. They make a point to show that.
Rips it off.
And then his head turns into a dick slowly to the point where it's like a cone head, and then starts spraying white liquid out of it.
It's like Otis Rungus at a fucking Guar concert.
God. Ariel, the chick with the voice box, her like stomach opens up to a giant vagina.
Oh man, this last scene is like something to rival like the Frankenhooker,
freaked on fucking acid,
the explosive crack scene, or like what was I thinking about before? Or like Dead Alive, or Brain Dead rather.
Especially we start to see some of these head penises, if you want to call them, exploding.
Also, like Society, it gave me like vibes like that. There's everybody's mutating. There's like giant dicks getting jerked off and fucking vaginas getting fucked. It's amazing.
Why not? Fuck it. It's Troma. It's 2020.
I mean, Lloyd Kaufman creates these freaks at one point. There's like a raccoon with a set of tits. There's something called an ass ham, which is like that's what I thought one of the writers, it had to be in a gag, but it's a pig with an ass face and a pig nose.
And there's the chicken with a giant dong.
His name's Dickie,
who gets out of its cage at one point, and Lloyd's very concerned.
It's a raw chicken with a fucking dick on its chest.
We want to talk about that scene real quick?
Yes, but there's two other things. There's a beaver. It's called Beaver, and it's a beaver that's just a big vagina on the front of it. And then there's a chick in a cage, and I think it just says Nicole on the cage.
I mean, Nicole, she's got it the worst.
It's fucking
hopefully
so
they
good.
don't use her to like experiment with the other animals, for God's
Maybe.
sakes. Lloyd's a crazy motherfucker. He definitely is working with John Hurt, I think, in the MDU. He definitely is I don't know if he's supplying Hurt with tech or if he's getting tech from Hurt. Maybe Cumdar supplies some DNA to get some of this stuff working.
Oh, he's going to
the Tempest. I think there's some Cumdar juice in there.
He's definitely going to this retreat.
DNA, possibly.
Big time. One of the social justice warriors is this fat man that dressed up like a woman. And
yes.
At one point,
which weird. I'm going to just mention this. I've never met you, but Zach Amico is related to my wife. But by
that guy?
Yes.
No, he's not.
Well, her mother's cousin's husband's
former roommate.
I could be getting this wrong. Son or nephew.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Hi.
Why aren't we working with Troma?
I don't know, because it's such a far relation, and I've never met him. It's kind of weird to just bring up, but here we are.
Well, he's hilarious.
He's great in this.
Yeah, he's like he's got these fucking bottles, and he's like social justice warriors.
Yeah,
come out to play. That fucking broke me.
That
was
great.
Hilarious.
Yeah, and this is another character that's kind of leaning into the social justice warrior stuff.
Yeah,
and then
the only thing I've ever read is a blog and a menu.
Right. Well, and they're making fun of people that eat meat, and then she's got a bucket of fucking fried chicken. Yeah. But she gets it good. Oh my God, this chicken with the big dick gets her.
It's what we call poetic justice. Because this thing called Dickie, which is a chicken with a huge dick on his chest, fucks her through the mouth and out the back of the head and has like 12 ejaculations. It's something to behold.
Again, on the video version, we can't really show anything.
We can't show any.
So I hope us just explain the absurdity of this makes you want to, like, has your, not only your jaw on the floor, but your mouth is literally moving your mouse and making you click on Google and looking this up.
Again, if you're not familiar with Troma and this sounds insane, or if you are familiar with Troma and this sounds insane, it's because it is, and you need to watch this movie because it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
With that being said, how do we feel about this? What did you think?
This isn't necessarily something I would reach for, generally speaking. Like, I didn't hate it by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I had a good time. I was laughing my ass off. I just feel like some of the social commentary, like, obviously they're ratcheting it up to, 12. Let's not even try to kid ourselves, to try to, like, make fun of just about everybody. Because they even make fun of Fox News a little bit towards the end there when they come in with their news trucks.
Yeah.
So Lloyd's poking at everybody, and even he has a speech at the end, kind of, that even goes into that, talking about why cancel culture is a problem and kind of attacking it from multiple angles. And we won't spoil exactly what happens. It involves that.
I think we've let enough out of the bag.
Yeah, whatever he ends up being turned into, let's say, whatever's under that robe at the end there, you wanna look that up. Some of it's just a little too much for me personally, but I also understand it's parody. They're leaning into it on purpose. And that's really my only nitpick. And again, I'm also acknowledging my nitpick with it is something that is just they're purposely making fun of it. They're going hard on that on purpose. That's the point. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
So it's probably top of the dumpster for me. It's not deep in there at all. It's one that I would feel pretty comfortable going and grabbing. I'd be looking out for some of those prosthetic dicks to, shoot me in the mouth as I go in there to grab it. Maybe Zach Amico's in there. I could take some chicken from him, maybe fish some of that, chicken dick juice out and,
whatever
put it in a
floats your
vial.
boat, man.
I don't know. Maybe we might need that later. Maybe the Baldwin statue for listeners of season 2 know what I'm talking about. Might need to have a reoccurrence, and I need a little juice to get it started.
It's possible.
But yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was, without a doubt.
Totally. This is ripe 100% for me. It was so refreshing to get a new Troma movie, especially in this time. And what we've been dealing with for the past few years. Lloyd does not give a fuck. And I love him so much for that.
Yeah.
And I have not laughed that hard in a long time. And he's like the repugnant Mel Brooks.
Well,
right?
there's a Mel Brooks joke even in here.
Well, which is funny because at the end of the movie, I'm thinking this the whole time because of the music numbers and everything like that, obviously, but he's always kind of been that guy. But at the end, Miranda says like, "Oh, my dad kind of looks like Mel Brooks."
Yeah, which I'm sure that's a thing he's been hearing for years, so fucking throw it at the end.
He looks like an old Jew.
Wow, that's the joke. Yeah, he jokes about that at one point too. Oh, look out, old Jew, come on, get out of the way.
It's unapologetic and great, and I think that it's just basically like this. Like they're gonna make the movies that they've always made, and they're always gonna really fucking jab it in for all the political satire and social commentaries that they always do. And I think the thing with Troma films is they're often imitated but never replicated, right?
Sure.
And the reason is for as disgusting and gross and potty humor, toilet humor, fart humor, shit humor, pussy face, fucking dick coming humor.
Yeah.
There's an intelligence behind the writing of this, right? The way the comedy is when you also need to understand too that like not every joke is just a dick joke. There are some other great comedy bits in this that have nothing to do with parts or shit or dicks or anything like that. The writing is really good, and it's raunchy as fuck, but you need to have that intellectual complexity. Like I would even compare it to like Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the man was brilliant, but he also wrote songs about taking a shit. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing there. And it's not taking life too seriously. And that's exactly what this film is trying to let us remember, is that don't take this shit too seriously. We're all life sucks. We're all just trying to have a good time. So stop trying to fuck it up for everybody or cancel everything or whatever that might be. And we need to lift each other up and be there for each other comedically and in brotherly arms or dicks or vaginas or whatever skin colors or whatever. So it was a fucking great time. I had such a blast. I wish I went to because I missed the event at the Mahoning. I wish I went to go see it, but I just want to thank the folks at Troma again for letting us review this and giving us an advanced screening, because I had a really good time. I cannot wait to pick this up when it drops on video. Hopefully it's dropping on video, and if it's streaming somewhere, I'm not sure exactly where that is yet or if they have a planned release date. But I will fucking be there with bells on. And you should too, if you're a fan of this kind of thing.
I definitely want to pick it up.
Yeah.
And that is our review of... Let's say it again. Shakespeare's fucking shitstorm.
Hashtag Shakespeare's shitstorm.
Right. Don't want to mess that up. We don't. The Mr. Lobos of the world will start coming after us. We're gonna hear Miss Mittens knocking on our door.
Yeah, had a great time, and so that's it for our first Ripe review, and I'm glad we got to do it for Troma. So that's pretty sweet. So yeah, we'll catch you on the next Ripe reviews.